Hello everyone, welcome to this video. I'm Dr. Ojo. A few weeks ago, I had the opportunity to talk to some new international PhD students in the United States. They initially said I should talk to them about how to be a successful graduate student. But really, when it comes to success or excellence, it's going to be different for each person. And to me, excellence is really not, what you get after the PhD, not the diploma or the certificate you get. But it's actually a feeling of accomplishment that you are going to feel after you finish grad school. So what I did was to tell them about my own personal experience and also acquired experiences of others, those who succeeded and those who struggled after grad school. So what you should do with this video is to take some of the ideas and use that to channel your own path to excellence. Define what success is going to mean to you after grad school. Having said that, here is the summary of what we talked about. I hope you learned something from the video. So what I will talk about in this presentation is the mentality that you should have as you enter grad school in the United States or maybe anywhere in the world. But like I said, this is designed for students coming to the United States. And also I'll talk about the measures of excellence because we're talking about excellence, right? And importantly, I'm going to talk about how to achieve this. Then we'll talk about, some intangibles that can affect how well you would be perceived as a graduate after you finish grad school. So that's under miscellaneous points. So let's get started. Now, what I'm going to talk about today is from personal and acquired experiences. So in other words, there are no universal rules. You should listen to this, take what you need and apply it and use it to kind of shape your experience in grad school, depending on your environment. Now, let's start with your mentality. Now, in the US, a lot of things are stacked against you. That's just the truth. As an international student, you should know that a lot of things are not designed to favor you. Government policies, a lot of things are designed to make it harder for you to do certain things like work in the US, which is understandable. And also a lot of the big fellowships, grants, will not be available to you, especially if they are federally funded. And I'll talk about how you can navigate that later. So these are just some things that you should know that will not be in your favor. And apart from that, the social environment as well, as you know, the US has some, I don't know if I should call it minor problems with racism in certain areas. A lot of people are concerned with the social justice environment, especially when I look at the recent international student survey that we conducted. So you should understand that even though, let's say you are coming from Africa, right? You have majority are black, even almost everyone is black, right? But now as you land in the US, you are now a minority. Okay, you're now a minority. And as I sometimes describe it, you're an ultra minority because a lot of things that the actual minority that our citizens here can afford to do, you cannot do them yet until you get the required papers. So you're an ultra minority. Now, how you should approach this after understanding all this is to approach everything with gratitude. That's usually what I do if you don't have any, you don't have a lot of choices. So just approach everything with gratitude and look out and go for opportunities that you can legally compete for. There will be a lot of them as well. So you should not stress about things that you cannot control. That's important. Now, I always see this chatter on Twitter and talking about the 9 to 5 life in grad school. And I want to tell you that you that are coming to the US grad school system is sometimes different from other countries because you have classes. You have to take classes. Unlike, I know the UK, probably they don't have to do a lot of classes, or sometimes they don't even take any. So they tend to focus on research. But here you take classes. If you are teaching, you have to do teaching duties. You have to do research, of course. You have to learn some new skills. So this takes a lot of commitment. So I dare say that the 9 to 5 life is hard to come by. Of course, there might be some time when you don't have a lot of work to do. So you should understand that as an international student, the bar is incredibly high for you. So it will be difficult to maintain a 9 to 5 life. That's just my opinion, but you are free to fight me on this. You shouldn't attempt to do this if you are going to be average. So let's talk about measures of excellence, and how you can attain these measures. The first thing I will talk about under measures of excellence is publications. Publications, like I said here, is the top measure of productivity for almost everyone, except you're in certain fields. Maybe there are some physical projects or maybe patents. I don't know. So, you would understand what you need to do when you get on campus. But generally, publications are the top measure of productivity for all. That's how you show that you are contributing new knowledge to your field. And I would say that as an international student, if you want to be competitive after grad school with citizens or permanent residents here, you may want to, do a little more when it comes to publications, so to improve your competitiveness. Now, here are some tips that I've found that can improve the publication output, both quality and quantity. Now, in your first 2 years as a PhD student or as a master's student, you probably have to do just 2 years for master's students. But for PhD students, the first 2 years, invest a lot of time in perfecting, I would say, an average of 3 top technical skills. Of course, there are some minor ones that you will learn, but 3 top technical skills in your field. Of course, if you're a master's student, you need to, if you don't intend to go for a PhD after, you need to know this, because these technical skills will be vital when you get into the job market. That's for master's students, but for PhD students, this would help you in your later years after the first 2 years. Now, what you can also do is to plan to publish a review paper related to your project. It's going to take time before you can actually get a first author publication, like original manuscripts, not review paper. So during the time while you are learning technical skills and understanding your project, why not use that time to write a review? Writing a review gives you a broader sense of your project, forces you to go deeper into the literature review and synthesize information to actually put a paper together. Now you can of course suggest this to your advisor, so you and your advisor can be authors on this paper, and you can also do this with colleagues in the department. Now, if you are lucky to get your PhD dissertation, like your dissertation proposal approved early, like in your first 2 years, some people do publish the literature review. So they just kind of turn their literature review into some sort of manuscript and publish that. So that works as well. Now, I would say that a lot of people would, when you are good, the thing is, when you are good, when they notice that you are good in certain things, people will come to you for help in doing this or that. Now, I dare say that you should help less and collaborate more. So you can also initiate this collaboration yourself, but you should talk to your advisor before you initiate collaborations. So This is possible, like I said here, within your research group with your advisor, or you can do this, you can collaborate outside your local research group. So I have some suggestions on how you can, suggest a collaboration, how you can throw that to someone. So let's look at two scenarios here. When they need significant help, when someone comes to you that they need help with something, and if you think this will cost significant energy and time, you can say something like, do you mind if I learn more about this project, and perhaps this can be in form of a collaboration? And of course, if you say this, you have to be open-minded to learn about their project. Now, I'm not saying every time they will say yes, but if this was a student that came to you for this help, the student will probably want to talk to their advisor to see if this can be possible. But most times, if you are the expert in this particular skill, they would agree. Now, with an agreement, you can ask for more information like the project's destination, like the end goal, the kind of paper they're thinking of publishing it in, timeline till completion, just another question. So this is what you can do if someone needs your help. Don't just let people use you and your skill. I know you're an international student, but you shouldn't be at the mercy of people that are not working closely related to your project. Now, when you need significant help, what can you do? Instead of saying someone should help you, you can approach them. If you think there's someone who is better at a certain skill, using one skill, one equipment in the lab, for example, you can approach them and just explain, we are working on X, Y, Z. Do you mind if we use your expertise on a portion of our project, as a potential collaborator? So you can throw this to them. But of course, you want to, like I said earlier, you want to talk to your advisor first before you propose this. But most of the time, your advisor wouldn't mind. Anyways. So research takes time. And in order to go far and fast, you need to learn to delegate duty when you can, or if it's possible. Nobody can do everything. Nobody knows everything. When you get on campus, you will understand that even your advisor is not an expert on everything, every technique in your field. So they collaborate, they use people. So you should learn to, use people as collaborators to get things done faster. Now, if you do this first, chances are they will also come to you to use your skill in one of their projects. So that's how it is. So if you are good at something, you propose it first, they will, as long as they now see you as a collaborator, they will probably come back to you and say, hey, can you also do this for us? So that way, one paper can become, two. So that's how it's done. For me, I think I had about four first author publications before I graduated, and in total, and also the ones I collaborated on, I had I think 10, 11 publications. So that's how to do it. Collaborate. And like I said here, collaboration is the key to working hard and smart in academia. Now let's talk about another measure of excellence, which are presentations. Now you are special, you are very unique, you are doing unique work, you are special. But who knows that you are special? That's important. And how you let people know you are special is through presentations. And let me talk to you a little bit about presentations. Now, at every opportunity, please seek to do oral presentations. I always tell people this. It's easy to go and hide behind a poster. A lot of people do this at national conferences. But I mean, at least throw your research out there when you're applying for these conferences. Offer to do an oral presentation, and if they say no, your research is not good enough for an oral, we are going to change it to poster, accept it. But most of the time, they will give you the opportunity to present your research if you are doing something good. Now, other opportunities can include 3-minute thesis presentations or competitions on campuses. I know a lot of campuses in the US do this. Seminars, university-wide, statewide, national presentations. Please take every opportunity to present your work. Don't be shy to be in front of a stage. That's how you get yourself known. And getting yourself known brings more opportunities, more exposure. What I've noticed in the US is that bold speakers, the stock of bold speakers is high in the US. Even if what you are saying is gibberish, like balderdash, you're saying nonsense, you still have your followers. If you look at the political landscape, you understand that this is true, and it's also true in academia as well. But a lot of people know what they are doing anyway in academia. So seek every opportunity to do oral presentations. Now let's talk about proposals, grant proposals. This is, money is actually what makes research moves forward. Without the money, you will probably not be you'll probably not have the opportunity to do your master's or PhD right now. So money is important, one of the most important things. So let's talk about proposals for a minute. Now, most campuses will have opportunities to learn how to write grants, and you should always take this opportunity. For us, we had a mandatory course that we had to take, which was, I think, grants writing. It was like a 1 credit course, which everyone had to take in my department. So that was very helpful. But even if you don't have that, you can talk to your PI, your advisor, and say, hey, I will be interested in learning how to write grants. So if there's an opportunity to help you with one of your grants, that would be great. Now, your advisor, if you have a good advisor, he or she will offer you the opportunity and guide you, maybe give you a template of how to write this grant. And importantly, they if they are good, they will add your name to the grant as one of the co-investigators. I had a special advisor, and she did that for me, which was important for me then. I ended up helping with some grants, but I think we got about 2 or 3 during my time with my advisor that I helped with. So that was something that's still on my CV till today. Now, I think I said in the beginning that you won't have a lot of opportunities to compete for research fellowships that are funded by the government. So what you can do is to target professional societies or associations. They usually have, though most of the time those funds are not as big as the federal funds, but if you can get that, some of them don't discriminate, some of these professional societies, but some do. But if they don't discriminate based on citizenship, you can target those and compete for that opportunity. I remember we did for one, I think, Nuts Harvest Bean Grower Association, and we got the opportunity, we got the grant. So you should always target, and you can find this out from your advisor or other senior international students on campus. These are some of the questions you can ask them about funding opportunities when it comes to grants. All right. Now, like the great boxer said, work hard now and enjoy the rest of your life as a champion. So if you're a PhD student, the next 4 years will be very, very, busy, but suck it in. And, for the rest of your life after graduation, you can, then take it easy on yourself. Now, let's talk about miscellaneous points. So these are the intangibles that will impact your end results. And the first thing I want to talk about is, what is your plan after graduation? What is your plan? Now, if you are just starting, you might not be clear about what you want to do, but I want to challenge you to start thinking about it. The earlier, the better. Now, what I usually do is, I think after my first semester, I started going to Indeed.com, which is a big job site. So I started looking for the kind of positions that I want to compete for after graduation. So when I see them, I'll look at the requirements. Then I would look at the skills that they need, and then I tried to get those skills while I remained as a grad student on campus. So I challenge you to start doing that. So sometimes I would go to, if I see someone on Twitter or social media who said, I'm happy to announce that I'm starting as a tenure track assistant professor at so university. I'll go to the university website and I will look at their profile. I want to see what they did. I want to see their profile and see if I can do some of that while I was in school then. So I challenge you to do that. When you understand the requirements or the skills needed in the kind of job that you want after graduation, you can shape your grad school experiences to fit those requirements. If you need to take, for example, some of the jobs I wanted would require being to have some bioinformatics knowledge. So I had to take a bioinformatics class while I remained as a grad student. So that helped expose me to some coding and NCBI blasts analysis and stuff. So, and it can, apart from just classes, it can help you shape your advisory committee as well. And it can shape your research topics and the skills you need to get. So that is very important. Remember, you want to start with the end in mind, always. Now, your advisory committee, your department they should have a handbook of when you should have your department or your advisory committee. For masters in my alma mater, Oklahoma State University, where I have my PhD, I think master students for my department needed to have 3 professors in their committee, while PhD students needed to have 4, at least 4. But I had 5. I decided to have 5 because of the kind of skills I needed in my advisory committee. So you want to make sure that you choose them wisely. Sometimes, even if you have a difficult advisor, if the rest of the professors on your committee are nice, they can, be giving you some certain paths. If your advisor is trying to strong arm you into certain things. But you want to choose them wisely. Ask around about their track record, especially if they have been on an international student committee before. You want to know how. It's just, I'm not saying it's the most important thing in the world, but it's good to know if they have or haven't. And also, you should know that the biggest name in the department is not always the best shot. So that's what some people don't know. But the thing is, sometimes those big shots, they usually don't have much time, most of the time. So you want to find out if they would have time for you. Do they really read and give students feedback when you submit a piece of writing? These are important things that you want in your committee. I was lucky to have 5 outstanding professors in mine, and that's why I think I can attribute my success to these outstanding people. So your the profs you choose in your advisory committee should be experts in technical areas that you will use, but your advisor doesn't have. Because most times research can be interdisciplinary. So when you propose something and you have to do this certain experiment or something, and your advisor doesn't really have a practical experience in with that particular skill, you can choose a professor who's lab, does that kind of experiment. That will help you. That particular professor might be helpful for you to, think through some of the intricacies of that experiment, so that you don't waste your time too much. So choose profs that are experts in technical areas that will complement your advisor's deficiency. Now, it is very, very, very important to have a stress coping mechanism. I think you should, if you already have one right now, before getting into grad school, you can stick to that. So have a time that you're going to relax. I'm serious that you should have one. Self-care, like I said here, is not selfish. So try to stick to it as much as you can, because the work never stops. If you get caught up, you just keep going 24 hours, almost 24 hours every day without much rest. So the stress is real and the work never stops. So a lot of duties, like I put here, that you have to do. So you need to find time to enjoy life and, enjoy the environment. You are going to be new in the country, right? In your environment. So attend activities, attend events, show up. I always tell people to show up if they can afford to. So that's important. Identify and stick to your stress coping mechanism. It will do you a lot of good. Now, remember to be patient with yourself. This will take time, especially if you don't have a lot of technical skills before starting. This will take time. Learning a lot of things will take time. So be patient with yourself. When you make mistakes or you're feeling frustrated with something, please take a break. Take a break and come back to it the next day or week or whenever. But always take a break when something is not going okay with your research. Kind of refreshes your brain. Now, it is important that you learn how to manage time. I think one of the most important skills you will have to develop during your PhD is time management. Because you have a lot of things to do, I would advise that you chase excellence, new skills, and not new status. I'm not saying it's bad, but if you look at your time, you want to rethink opportunities that will offer you more status, but less freedom to do, to actually chase excellence. Because, like I said, the bar for you is really high. I'm this kind of status. I'm saying, I'm the president of so association, and this so. Now, those things are not bad, but if they are going to take away significant time from the excellence or the success you are chasing, please rethink them. That's just my personal opinion, and I stand to be corrected on that. If you don't, like I said, if you don't have the ability to control your time, I don't think it's worth it. So, as a PhD student, master students still have some time to learn more things, right? But as a PhD student, this might be your last opportunity to learn for free. If you have funding, this is your last opportunity to actually do some things for free. So, take this opportunity seriously. But what I can recommend is, if there are positions in academic societies, for example, graduate students association within your small department, being a representative to the students government association. I was one of the rep for my department, and it didn't really take time. It was like 1.5 hours every 2 weeks commitment. So those can, kind of help you form a bond with your departmental colleagues, and, it will also be good on your CV as well. So offices in academic societies may teach you some vital leadership and relationship intangibles with people in the US. So I would recommend that if you have the time. Now, let's talk about social media. If you are presently an avid user of social media, let me look at your face right now. If you are presently an avid user of social media, I would recommend, it's just a recommendation, okay? I would recommend that you reduce significantly the amount of time you spend on social media. The truth is, I mean, you might want to deny this, but, staring at phones or your computer for a long time takes a lot of significant energy away from your brain. That's just, well, for me anyway, but I'm ready to argue that with anybody. But you want to try to reduce if you're an average user. But if you are not, I mean, stick to your schedule, your social media schedule. Now, if you must use social media, for example, let's say Twitter or LinkedIn, try to interact with people that can potentially get you to the next step. So follow people that can potentially get you to the next step and engage with them. Most senior colleagues on Twitter are very respectful if you ask questions about their research. Now, I'm going to just tell you a short story about how I got the next step. I was looking for people that are experts in the kind of field I want to do research in after my PhD, and I started following people on Twitter. And I saw this tweet. The tweet was posted on August 15, 2019, and I replied August 26. That was when I just went back in on Twitter, and I saw that tweet, and I was like, wow. And it was the beginning of fall semester, and I was preparing to defend my dissertation. So I applied, interviewed, had a couple of interviews, and I got the job 2 months before I graduated. So it's just one of the ways to use social media. Follow people that and engage with people that can potentially get you to the next step. So there is a lot of noise on social media. Try to shut your eyes and ears to the noise, and like I said, engage people that can get you to that next step. You just have to be intentional with your use of social media. Now, let me say this now. The degree of excellence in grad school is often proportional to the amount of sacrifices you are willing to make. And I think that's even true for most things in life. The amount of sacrifices you're willing to make would be proportional to the feeling of accomplishment that you would have after that particular event. So it's true also for grad school. Now, let me conclude by saying you shouldn't, don't fret, don't be afraid on the potential unfairness that you might see or perceive in your environment, or when it comes to government policies or immigration issues. Focus on excellence, and other things will follow. So just focus on your work. And like I said, when you pay your dues, you eventually get your due. You'll get what's yours. And one of the trainings I would offer later, if you, I think in the next couple of weeks or months, I'm going to offer a training that will break down a fast-tracked path to permanent residency, getting your green card via your accomplishments in grad school. So, like I said, focusing on excellence is the most important thing. So, if you are focused on excellence and you're an excellent grad student, you have a path to green card without depending on your employer or getting married either legally or illegally. So without depending on anybody, you can self-petition the government to give you this green card because you are special. So look out for that. I will when I have it, I will put notices on YouTube, on Instagram page, and everywhere where you can find me. So if you want to follow me on my personal pages on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I mean, if it's LinkedIn, I'll recommend Twitter and Instagram. If you are not, if you are on this platform, I think I'm more active on those, on Twitter and Instagram. And also, you should follow the Best Man Academy pages on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. If you have not subscribed to YouTube, please do. You can get this information on YouTube as well. So, to conclude, challenges color our lives, but we are left to choose the color. So this PhD will be a challenge, but you are left to decide the kind of outcome that you want by your activities during grad school. So that's all I have today. Now I can take any question.